this is what we're calling Mensarius Oath. This is a working title. It's an early days project, with this brand new product that Kleros is doing, this Stake Curate that we've just been listening about. And so the pain point here is VC accountability. I've spoken with many people who've had issues dealing with the VC ecosystem, either as founders or as capital providers for VCs, that LPs. And it just so happens that there is a solution of sorts, at least the beginnings of it, that has come from not the founder side, but from the LP, the capital provider side, through VC Lab. And it's called the Mensarius Oath. So if people here are familiar with the Hippocratic Oath, the Mensarius Oath is pretty much that, but just for VCs. Hippocratic Oath is how we can trust doctors and nurses to do the right thing. It's do no harm. It's been around for thousands of years. It's definitely public domain. But Adeo Resi, and he made the SAFE agreement that is totally popularized. He has also come up with this a few years ago, the Mensarius Oath, and look it up in ChatGPT, the history of it, and that's pretty good at recalling how that came about. But they've put a lot of energy into what they consider the core requirements of practicing ethical VC. And because it's VC Lab and Adeo's leadership that has created this, it also has a lot of adoption. Over half of all new VCs, according to DSAL Group or VC Lab, go through their program. And to enter the program, people have to attest to this oath. So it already has a wide amount of adoption, but the attestation doesn't have any teeth. And that's what we're really excited about Stake Curate. So whether people are adhering to the oath or not, that is a state that can change. So recalling about where this is a good application, assets of some type or value of some type that might that needs continual review to see if it has a state change, that's here. So is the VC continuing to act within the obligations of the oath? And that's what we're working with Kleros on as well. So here's an example of the oath we did that's live right now for demo purposes only, though. And so you can see what the oath entails. And then we've already integrated it with Web3, so you can actually sign it. And this is using EAS. So, and we've all seen this before, but hopefully that'll, yep. So it worked. We viewed the transaction. And here it is. So we've already got an address that we can hold accountable through an EAS methodology. So it should plug in pretty easy with the Stake Curate. So I'm just going to quickly go over the timeline of what got us here. So in November 2024, our studio was fact-tracked for VC Lab. That ecosystem was really excited about it. And then, in December to accept it, we public attested. So you can look at our social media. We can see that we are following the Mensarius Oath, and you can hold Ixian accountable to that if you see some of our actions are on the line. But then in January, we fast-tracked even more to this first emerging institute cohort. But in February, because I was spending more time in Web3 and making that very clear as part of our thesis, the VC Lab went, these economic modelers are two different. Kleros, I'm sure, knows about how traditional institutions can be, I think of us, what we're doing, all this innovation as too alien. And so that was what went down. But ultimately, with the kinds of shenanigans that have happened in Web3, arguably, the VC or whatever the capital environment of Web3 is the Wild West and unruly. So we also have created a trustless environment, and so we can hold people accountable in ways that in the past just hasn't been doable, and that's exactly what Kleros is offering here. So in May at Switzerland, we did that EAS attestation thing I just showed you all, and then you can watch the video. It's about 45 minutes or so, really going into the history of it and all that. And then in June, yeah, we met with Kleros and floated the idea at Zoo Berlin. And then in July, we hammered out kind of the details at ECC. And now we're here giving the explanation of what it's about. So yeah, ultimately, the oath, it's just a social media statement. And by putting up some stake, and we've got a few different ways I think people, VCs and such, will put up stake. But then we've got accountability for the oath, and something that we're going to have to hopefully, well, we will we'll do a request for comment at some point, is the criteria for when somebody is adhering to these oath elements or not. Right now, it's way too vague, and for Kleros's methodology, we want to have much more certainty in how outcomes will be before we actually run this product. So there's some work to do before it will be delivered, but please click on this link to to find these slides, and then we'll also add some contact details on these slides. Daniel, if you're in the call, try to do that so people can sign up to newsletter and get updates as things go. So thank you all for their time, and happy to answer some questions if there's